In 2019, a core group of 18 people first met in a basement to explore God's call to plant a new church here in the region. Now, fast forward just 3.5 years later, that 18 people has multiplied into 275 members, and we've only just crossed the starting line. We have an incredible opportunity before us, and I want to take a few moments and share with you more about that opportunity. But first, let's stop and let's ask why. Why does Northwest Indiana need another church? You know, it can seem like there's a church on every street and corner here. In fact, if you look at the statistics, you'll find that 73% of the people here will tell you they believe in one God. Another 68% of the people will tell you they attend a religious service 3 times a month. If this is life here, it's fair to ask, why another church? Let's dig deeper. Consider the population growth here. There's currently 500,000 people in Lake County, but 30,000 people move here each year. Consider the family life situation here. 50% of the babies born in our county are born to single-parent homes. Of those babies, 50% are born to a single parent living below the poverty line. We need more churches that are pro-family and can help that baby grow into a lifelong follower of Jesus Christ. Now, consider the youth demographics. In 5 years, 54% of people in Northwest Indiana will be under the age of 25. 6 in 10 young people graduate high school and never set foot in a church again. As I've talked to school administrators, they've said churches struggle to bridge the gap, reaching people between high school and getting married. Finally, consider a spiritual statistic. Yes, people may believe in one God, but when asked to evaluate this statement, Jesus Christ is the only way of human salvation, most people either disagreed or strongly disagreed with this basic truth. Add these all together: a growing population, families in need of help, youth in need of connection, and a people confused about salvation. Take those needs and let's go back to the beginning. This is why we believe God gathered us together, to launch a church that would meet spiritual needs on Sunday, but would meet this region's needs through side door ministries Monday through Saturday. Today, just 3.5 years later, we're still building that church. God has multiplied us in number, but there's still more work to be done. We don't just want to plant one church that meets needs here in Northwest Indiana. We need to plant multiple churches that do this together. If we plant another 3 churches over the next 12 years, we believe that creates a tipping point. At that point, we'll have the self-sustaining momentum to plant more churches. At that point, we can provide long-term support to the churches in the region that are poor and needy. And at that point, we can launch supporting ministries like a pregnancy center, a life skills center, or a counseling hub. At that point, we can dream bigger. So, how? How do we do this? How do we get there? We need a home. With a building, we can launch ministries that get after these needs in our community. These ministries will create a side door for people to enter into grace. I mean, just stop and think about what's possible. Do you remember the need for families and youth? Well, with a building, we can host marriage and parenting seminars for families. With a dedicated nursery space, those single parents can come without spending money on babysitting. Down the road, we can add an indoor-outdoor playground that lets families get out of the house during the winter months. What about the youth? Well, with a multi-purpose room, we can host more than just a youth group event on Sunday evenings. With a building, we can enhance our worship with a permanent space. Our musicians will be able to rehearse before Sunday worship. There won't be any more last-minute preparations. We won't have an exposed HVAC system turning on during the service or a squeaky stage. These things can make our singing hard to hear, to know when to enter into a song, or to even focus on the sermons. We won't have to devote so much manpower to setting up on a Sunday morning. Those people will be freed up to serve in other outward-facing ministries. Finally, do you remember the need created by a rapidly growing population? There's a need for more churches. One church cannot reach 30,000 people per year. but good news. As we host side door ministries that meet our region's needs, we will reach more people. As our worship enhances, we will reach more and more people. That means we can plant more churches. And as we do that, then we can meet the needs of our growing population. What's our first church plant? Winfield? Merrillville? One further south as the population grows in that direction? We can daydream together and seek where our Father will multiply us next. This is a powerful vision. But to see Grace multiply, we need you. First, we need you to engage with this discipleship process. This is a time for all hands on deck. We need you in a community group for the month of June. We need you present for the sermon series, and we need you going through our devotional packet on generosity. Second, we need to commit to multiplying over a 3-year period. We need to raise $3 million in order to secure our home base from which we will multiply. This effort requires our cheerful, sacrificial giving to multiply. Grace, as we bond together, God will do immeasurably more than all we can imagine. He will multiply our witness to Him. He will multiply us. And from there, we can multiply ministries and churches across the region. So Grace, let's step up to the call once again. Let's step up and multiply.